Steve Moran and Russell Rush here today with your daily sales tip, something that you can use to put into practice immediately to close more sales, to make more commissions, to go home feeling more relaxed, to make your boss love you like crazy. So one of the questions that I am always really fascinated by, and one of the things that you talk about a lot, is this idea that you actually only do ever one tour with somebody. So your goal is to close on the first tour, really the only tour. Can you talk to me about how you actually make that happen?
Well, over the last 10 years, I've developed a process where I close the sale on the first tour. We don't have multiple tours before we commit a resident to moving in. And this is something that I feel that since I've been doing it successfully for so long at such a high percentage. So if we have 10 tours of qualified prospects, I'll get 8, sometimes as many as 10 to commit to moving in on the first tour. And so the fact I've been doing it year in, year out for years proves that obviously prospects can commit on the first tour. However, unfortunately, Steve, as you know, in our industry, there's a belief that the sales cycle, the time it takes somebody after they initially look at the community to them making a decision to move in, could be a week, a month, 6 months, or even a year. But that's just not true, Steve. If it was true, how could we be doing what we've been doing? I'm on my 11th project in the last 10 years, and I've done this on every single project. So why would that even be possible?
So what's your secret sauce to make that happen?
Well, first of all, we believe when the prospect comes in, they have a high level of readiness. So they're super interested at that moment. And so we are going to be as prepared as possible to convert on their readiness. So we have a high level of readiness to be prepared to convince them or persuade them on that first meeting, make a commitment on an apartment and move in. So we have a series of presentations we make that are designed to move them along the primrose path. So my average tour is 2 hours long. I'm not in a hurry. I know they can make a decision right then. And so I'm not in a hurry. So I'm moving them along down that path toward making a decision on a specific apartment and committing them for a future move-in. And this is so critical because if we let them go home, most of the time, all that's going to happen is they're going to cool off. They're going to go back to their prior commitment to living in their house for the rest of their life by themselves and not spending any money. So why not strike while the iron's hot and persuade them to move in now? Now, when I say persuade them, there's no high pressure whatsoever in my presentation. I'm just talking with them in persuasive arguments as to why they should use senior living, being easy to buy from, and helping them make a decision. But understanding that they can make that decision now. They don't have to put it off till later. And they know that. They're prepared to make a decision. See, I think this is not their problem. I think it's our problem. I think we've conditioned ourselves to believe they can't make a decision when they're prepared to make a decision right then.
Yep, I think that so much of this, and I think the big tip for today really is to have a mindset that people are ready to buy. Because coming to tour a building is actually a big, huge, scary step to do. And so if I, as a salesperson, believe that they're ready to buy, they're more likely to buy than if I don't think they're going to be ready to buy.
Exactly. So what I do, I think of every sales presentation almost like a football, where I'm going to run a number of plays and I have one chance to win that game. I'm either going to win the game or I'm going to lose the game. And so if they leave and I don't have them committed on an apartment with a reservation, I lost the game. So if that's a mindset, that's a mental preparedness. So this all comes down to, is the salesperson, are you as a salesperson prepared and ready to sell a ready buyer? And if the answer is no, that's a problem. So we just need to condition ourselves mentally to be prepared and ready, understanding that they can make a commitment. Again, we've done this research for years. We've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tours. I'm on a project right now, Steve. I've just been back on it I've done 7 tours in the last since the 7th of July, and I've taken 7 reservations on first-time tours. So again, why? Because I expect them to do it. If I have no expectation, and my expectation is that I'm going to show them around, answer their questions, and send them home to think about it, well, then that's delaying the sales process. That could delay it months or even years, and in many cases, forever. People will just go home, you call them back 50 times, and they're saying the same thing. I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. And what that is, Steve, is they went home and cooled off and decided to stay status quo, which is do nothing. And remember, Steve, it's easy to do nothing. All a person has to do nothing is nothing.
Exactly right. And I think that part of that, and this is something you talk about so much, is this idea that when you do nothing, what you're really doing for the prospect, for the resident, for the future resident, is you're giving them a less than life rather than a best possible life. And I think that that is just so critical. So I think if I were selling senior living, it's like, I got to close this. They're ready to go because I'm going to change this person's life. So Russell, great tip today.
Absolutely.
We're running long. Thank you very much.